So right off the bat, what I usually do is create a diataxis tutorial showcasing creating MCP server, an MCP server that wraps Discord, REST API. The goal beyond this, I mean, like, this is pretty much the prompt that I would use, is like directly telling it what to do. Let's see how well it does. And I'll show, so the means of me doing this is basically just trying to get it to create the tutorial itself. Let's see how well it does. Because in essence, if I need to take over and start implementing the things myself, I can. But I'd rather not. And this also creates the documentation if I'm passing this off into anybody else on a team or anything to that effect, because I use this for Discord as like a test subject, but I've done this with other REST APIs that are out there and different services, and then just was able to create really simple ones. So we'll see how well. And I technically do use anti-gravity for this. I have been until Google decides to get rid of it, but it does a pretty decent job of like being able to like show me what the implementation steps are. For REST MCP. Okay, we already built the server. So really, we just need this to handle creating new channels, sending messages, and CRUD operations. That's fine. And then that's fine. So let's see how this goes. All right. So this ended up finally completing. It looks like it still wanted to run through tests. I'm gonna ignore this for the time being because I do want to demonstrate some of the code itself on like what it ended up doing. But just so you guys are aware, it ran through the structure. It built out the cargo .toml files, .env example file of like what it needs, and all the rest. And then beyond this, because it's what's really important is usability on like as far as like what needs to be done once it's generated all this, and then being able to test this out. It was able to create a tutorial like this is a learning oriented guide. You will follow concrete examples, blah 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 blah, showing you like what the REST binary is. So call it, and this is the standard IO format of it. Discord MCP calls over to HTTPS, and then it calls over to the Discord API. The tutorial notes itself will be able to like showcase like, hey, I create a Discord bot. And I went through all this process with like a different versioning of this, but it like they're all the same, guys. At the end of the day, like whatever this structure is for it, like it's able to like create the channels, list channels, etc., to be able to update the channels. Like, yes, in essence, we could split this up as like, hey, create like, I can go back to it and tell it I don't like the structure. I want to be able to like split this up into like a tools folder and separate each of these different CRUD operators by what they are, like send messages. So instead of message tools up chat here, you know what, let's just do it because I think it's super important. Hey, I noticed tasks separate the tools into separate tool files for easier maintainability, so we don't have to go venture a huge file. The tools should have their own repository. Yep. So see, channel, message. That way, it's just easier to maintain long term. You don't have to do this. This is more of like just, in essence, like what I'm attempting to do. And let me show you the one that I actually built out. This is cool for what it is. Here's the one that I built like a week ago. And so yeah, it added tools, the arguments, optional string, channels, all the different channels that I wanted to be able to create. It's a little bit more in depth, but it's I pretty much follow the same kind of prompts. And then the .env example, I'll try to keep this one secret, but like you give it a Discord bot token, and that's, I'll make sure to like link the documents inside the description or link it to whatever, but, and also the guild ID. The guild ID is just your channel ID, guys. Like you switch over to developer mode and set up Discord, and then you go copy your server ID. Once it has access to those, I want to showcase what it's capable of doing. Yeah, go ahead. So while that runs, I do want to showcase here. Discord. Discord MCP to create a new channel inside the server called YouTube videos. And let me open up Discord to make sure that it actually shows up. So here's the server that I've been like working on, because I'm planning on running cohorts later this year. But all these were generated, all these channels were generated by the bot itself. So use Discord. Let's see if it'll actually do it. Okay, so we see that it was created, channel ID, hop back over, and here it is. So now the next step in this whole workflow path would be to go in and have like a cron scheduler to go check our channel out, and any time that a new video gets like posted onto the channel, it would send it over into here. But on that, it's just, not only do I have that, but I also have all the documentation now provided to me with like a few prompts. Like what I'm trying to get to is like, I use it like to do this level of like development. It used to take me a very long time, especially if I was doing this like by hand and I was starting out. I would have to be like, well, where do I start? How do I do all this stuff? Now, beyond that, I can not only like be able to generate something that I could use reusable, but I could actually go back and like understand what it's doing, how it's doing, why it's structured the way that it is, and it has all the documentation for me. And it didn't take long. Like I did this all within like maybe less than an hour to get done, and that's not like, it's not long at all to do all this. So I hope this does help. I hope the code helps. Definitely give it a go with some other REST APIs. I've done it with Confluence. I've done it with GitHub. I've done the same thing, and it's so fast as far as like being able to like hit these Rust APIs that are these binaries. Um, and if you guys have any questions regarding this stuff, I would love to have like longer, deeper discussions on all this, but I hope this does help. All right. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hey, so very quickly, I did forget one part in this whole thing, and that was how do you set it up inside your IDE. Usually, whatever it is, there's a MCP configuration file or a user configuration file. Visual Studio Code has it in like a user config. Um, and then for anti-gravity, you'll be able to find it inside the Gemini config and then your MCP config itself. And then for Claude, you can just ask Claude itself. It'll point it to like the user configuration file. But at the end of the day, all you're doing is just pointing to the binary that we built, Discord mcp.exe, and then you're giving it your API tokens or server IDs. There's another way to do it as well, where like instead of pasting it inside of here, you can have it read directly from the .env file. You can ask Claude or Gemini to do that for you as well. Like all of it, even this setup, like I asked it to do it. But yeah, last bit, just wanted to make sure to cover this before you guys went off and attempted this. All right, see ya.